Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to learn and see how to create a real-time chat application using FastAPI. Before we start, let's see how the final project is looking like. So I have an application or a page where it is on clicking on the join. It is asking me a username. So I'll start with my name, Akansha. So I've joined it. So it says that you have joined. Now another user comes on. So it can come using the same. Join using the same URL. Clicks on the join. The let's say the name would be Max. Another user can come and join. Let's say it is Tam. Okay. All of them are seeing this. They have joined. Okay. Now I say, hey, anyone up? Oh, and can I see if yeah, uh, the the Max sees that he has received a message from Akansha. Oh, Tam also sees the message. Now Tam replies, "Yeah, I am up." And oh, then the Max says, "Okay." Tam says something. He is up. Akansha also sees a reply that Tam says he is also up. And what is Tam seeing? He's seeing that he has replied as, "Yeah, I am up." And to this, let's say Max replies. So yeah, yeah, me too. Okay. So let's say what Akansha sees. Akansha sees the replies from Max, and Tam also sees the replies. So this is how the full-fledged application is working, and it is real time. Whatever I'm tapping, yeah, yeah, it works. All the other users sees it right away. So this is a real-time application. Now let's see how to build it. For building it, we will be needing, of course, what we will be needing. Let me write it here. Uh, yeah. So will be needing first Python, okay. Second Fast API, and then as we will follow through the tutorial, we will see what all we will need. So I'll of course tell you guys. So uh, let's start building this. Also before that, I have split the whole tutorial into few sections, and the sections are going to be first the section is going to be, hang on, let me increase this font size. Yeah, I guess it is visible. Yes. So section is going to be, first we are going to understand build a basic chat app, okay, and then we will see build multi user chat app, okay. So first we will learn how to build a basic chat app, and once we will understand the basic concepts, we then will move on to building a multi-user chat app. So this one is a multi-user chat app, okay. And also I will tell you how I have used chat gpt here to simplify our work, because this tutorial emphasizes more on the how we use fast api instead of html and css. So we will be taking help from the chat gpt to provide the template for our app, okay. So yeah, so first let's start with building a basic app. Let me increase the font size for this also, if you guys could were unable to see. So yes, so I have I'm going to follow the same tutorials here as well, what I have followed to build the apps. So the best tutorial for learning fast api is the official documentation of fast api itself. So now this url you can go to the fast api and chat app. You'll type it and you will land onto this third link, which is like WebSockets. and this is what we are going to follow to build the first basic chat application to understand the basic workflow. Okay. Now we have understood what to follow, right? But let's, before digging in, let's understand what web hooks are, or sorry, web sockets are. Okay. So I want to first make you understand what, or how, what web sockets are. Let's understand how a normal application on web looks like. uh, so a normal application look like is, a user is coming, accesses a URL on the internet, and then the message, the request is usually a type of HTTP request, as you all know. So the HTTP request goes to the server, and then it goes to the server receives the request and then reply uh, something as response. The client this client receives the response and then perform action perform whatever it wants to do with that, right? So if in case if we want to build this chat application using the same HTTP, what would be what would we would be doing? We would be doing first, using chat application and send something like, let's is call this chat server. Okay. This, let's say this user is, I can I change the name? I don't think I can change the name. Okay. So yeah, this, let's say this is a user, Akansha. This is me only. Akansha wants to send a message to another user. Let's say here, another user comes, and let's say uh, Akansha wants to send a message to Max. Okay, as we have seen. So when Akansha wants to send a message to Max, it will first send a request with a message to, it will send a HTTP request with a message to chat server. Chat server will save this message. Okay, and whenever Max is going to come online, chat server, and then Max will ask, okay, do I have any message or not? So if Max is going to, Max, for that Max is going to send again an HTTP request. Let's see. uh, yeah. So Max will, so how it will go, Akansha will send a HTTP message with the message it wants to send to the Max. Chat server has this message. Now when Max will come online, it will ask using the HTTP request, okay, do I have any message? Chat server will see, okay, you have a message, and then will reply it as the response. Now for Akansha to see back that, okay, he has received a message, or do I have any reply from Max, do I have any reply from Max, the Akansha repeatedly will ask chat server. So it is going to again ask, oh, again going to send a HTTP message requests. Do I have any message from Max? Do I have any message from Max? Do I have any message from Max? The moment it will have the message, the chat server will reply as response the message from the Max. So did you see, Akansha has, this user Akansha has to repeatedly send HTTP requests in order to receive the message or reply back from the other user. Okay. So repeatedly it has to send the HTTP request. So do you see, this is a unidirectional request. Client has to initiate the request and repeatedly ask the server for the responses. Okay. Now this can work, we can use HTTP to, build a chat server. But there is another type of protocol called WebSockets. uh, if I replace it with WebSockets, how WebSocket is going to help us? WebSocket is actually a bidirectional type. It is going to work in bidirection. How? The moment Akansha or this user is going to instantiate a WebSocket connection with the chat server, it sets it a bidirectional set type a network is set up between the actor and the server. So whenever chat server will receive the response, it will not wait for the akansha to initiate the request, because it is bi-directional. It is going to send back the response. I am again going to repeat. So akansha will not have to again send the request to receive the reply. The moment chat server will receive the response, will receive anything, it needs to send data to the akansha, it will send data to the akansha without initiating any connection. It will be using the same bi-directional WebSocket type connection. So this is the advantage of using WebSocket. We do not require to send this request again and again. We'll be using the same connection, as it is bi-directional. HTTP type is unidirectional. So we have understood what WebSockets are. So we will be planning on using WebSockets here. Okay. So yeah, let's build it. Before that, it also, if you failed, as I've already told you, that will be using Python and FastAPI. I will not cover how to install FastAPI, but if you want, you can go use the same website to learn how to install it. So it can be like, from this learn fast API, here installation, and here you see that for installing fast API you will have to run this pip install fast API, and also will have to use install this uvcon. Okay. So yeah, once done, you will come back to, I will, let me remove it. Yeah, you will come back to this tutorial. So let's start building a basic application. Okay. So for that, let me open my uh, VS Code, and I'm going to, yeah, create a new folder. Oh no, I don't have to. I've already created a folder called YouTube, and here inside I'm going to create a new folder called Chat App One. Okay, and here I'm going to create a file called main.py. Okay, and here I'm going to start using what is written here, and I'll while I'm copying or using the template here, I'll explain you what it does. Okay, so first I'm going to use from, sorry, fast API, import fast API. Okay, and then WebSockets. Okay, then yeah, let's see, from fast API import fast API dot responses, import HTML response. Okay, done. Then I'm going to create a URL, on which URL this, our application will be accessible on. So for that, before that, let's create an instance of our fast API application. So for that, it is going to be called from the app variable, and let's create an instance. Okay, done. Now we'll do what? We'll define a get type request, where the application root is going to be accessible at slash, and the callback for this type of request is going to be, um, let's say, callback request home. Okay, or we'll call it get home, or let's say, get app, and we'll return hello. Let's say if it works or not. uh, okay, I'm going to again go to, uh, not here, Python, YouTube, chat F1. Okay, and I'm going to, okay, my one application is already running, so I will have to close that. Okay, I have closed it, and I'm going to terminate that, and then I'm going to use this command actually, will help me providing or running my application, fast API application. And also this thing, if you see, this thing is basically let me go. I For one more thing, let me go and increase the font size. Yeah, I guess now you see what I'm writing here is this. So it is telling me, okay, UV go run my app and make sure it is reloaded. What it means is that whenever I'm changing anything in my application, this main application file or my application, go and reload the whole application. Okay, so yeah, so let me run it. It says my application is accessible on this URL. Let me go and it says, oh, it is working, right? Let me go and access the doc section. So there is a doc section of whatever apps you will be creating on your Fast API. You can see, okay, I have an API called slash accessible on this, and it returns a string type. And we saw that, sorry, it is returning a string type. Okay. Now we are going to go and we'll do what? We are going to go and we'll do what now. We'll use the thing here. Let me move it. Yeah, yes. So we have done that, in created an instance of our application. Now let me go and it provide this HTML variable. I'm going to yes, I have provided an HTML template inside this variable, and I'm going to return this HTML response uh, to this variable. And let me go and see. Oh, something is being written, right? So it worked. By the end of this tutorial, we will make sure that we will not be using passing the HTML like that. We'll have its own HTML template, and we will be loading uh, this template from this that respective file, not directly from this, as a string. So it works, right? And how it is doing. So this is like, I'm using my app to define what type of request, a slash type of request, which is like a get type of request, accessible at what URL, this URL. Then we have to um, pass the callback function. Whenever we access that URL, what callback function we are going to have. So we define that callback back function right after that uh, line, right? So we have defined, and we are returning whatever you are going to return or write there is going to be triggered on that URL. So it worked that through that callback function, right? Now we are going to use another thing. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm going to copy it and I'm going to replace it. But before that, I want to explain you one more thing. This async keyword. I would encourage to go and read more about it yourself, because then you are going to understand more. Because I do not have Python background, so it took me some time to understand what it means. But if you already know, good. If you do not, go and read a little bit about it. uh, but I'll try to make you understand what it does. So, what this asynchronous or async keyword does is it tells. So, for example, whenever we are writing this async thing, I can write it, go and do it like that also. Okay. Now, what it does basically, it provides or it is telling Python that, see, it is going to handle asynchronous type connections or work in a asynchronous type way. So what it means is that whenever we are using this await keyword, we'll have to define that function as async. And what this await does is, so whenever we are defining this await, what it does, it will wait for this function or whatever we pass after this await to run, and not run anything after that. Wait to receive or first run this. Once it is once it has successfully run this await function and received whatever it wants to do with that, then it is going to run the following code. Also, since it is async, it is not going to stop the whole execution of the script. Okay, otherwise it will be very, it is not going to be fast. What it is going to do, it is going to return the control back to the previous function, so that other function can work as they are working. Meanwhile this will continue do its work. The moment this await will receive its response, the other function is going to the other thing, the following code is going to work. So this makes sure that we are waiting on the response from this, then only execute the following code. That's what await does. Okay, so let's do. Okay, and I have copied everything right here, but I have not explained what my this function is doing. I've explained this function, right? That this function is basically returning the HTML using this HTML response, right? But what this big function is doing. But let's see, let's go and run this chat application first. I'll write, hey. Okay, it does not work. Let me go and change it. Let's see if we, okay, it works. Oh, it works. Hey, does it work? Yes, it works. Sorry, I will have to add this async here also, because this is handling this async request, so it needs to be async as well. So yeah, let me go again show you. I'll reload this page. I'll say, hey, oh, I see a reply. Does it work? Yes, it works, right? So now let's go and understand it. For that, we will go and understand our code here. This code is like a normal HTML, right? But it has a heading, then it has a form. On form, in the form it has an input which has the ID message text. Okay, and then it has a button called send. And the form action is nothing, but it has a on submit handler that whenever we are submitting this form, trigger trigger this function called send message. Okay, now this send message we have defined here in this script. Okay, now here in this send message you see this message, right? This message, what this message is doing, this message is picking up the message text. Where is this message text? This message text is this input form. Okay, this is that message text, this input form. So whenever we are clicking on this send button, it sends, it triggers the JavaScript function called send message. Inside send message, it picks up the whatever message we have typed in the input form message text, this message text. Okay, and it takes that input, then it triggers a send function of this WebSocket with this pass value, and then it sets this input value as null, because we have sent it now. And then yeah, you go now. When we we trigger this function ws dot send, what it does with the message, it will go here. Now before that, let's understand what this ws is. Ws is, we have established a WebSocket connection using JavaScript's WebSocket thing, right? So here we have established that, okay, establish a new connection on this URL. Okay, so whenever we are loading this page, it sets establishes a connection on this URL. Okay, and stores it in the ws variable. Now whenever we are clicking on this send button using the message ID, it goes inside this function and triggers the message using ws.send. The moment it does that, we have defined a callback function on this event called on message. Whenever this this WebSocket connection is going to receive a message, we have said, okay, on message, this on message, do this using this function. So what is doing, it is taking the element from messages. What is this message? You go and see, this is that message, this is the ID. Okay, and it creates a new li element. Okay, and populates this message, whatever the value we have sent, it is being sent as the event. It gets the message from event.data and then populate as content. Okay, append the li we have created. It is going to append that value inside that li and then add it inside the messages. Now you have understood the code. Let me go and explain it here one more time. So if we go inspect it here, you go, it is a text message, sorry, a text type field with id message text. And you see this form has on submit send message javascript function call. Okay, so when we are going to provide hey the value to our message text input field and trigger send message. As I told you, the moment we are going to load this file or this page, our WebSocket connection is established using this line number 21. Okay, done. So we have triggered on it. We'll go and check it here that okay, WS is there. It is going to call this WS dot send function, trigger this, and on this on message on this whenever this send function is triggered, this on message is uh, event is triggered. Okay, and do this using this function. We have defined this. Okay, so going to append the message as a li. Let's go and see, has it appended? Okay, we have appended. Okay, okay, so it works. So you see, whenever I'm passing trying to send anything here, I see it as a response to my, I'm seeing it uh, as you know in the same window. But let's see how we can use it to build a full-fledged multi-user application later. But did you see this WebSocket connection is actually working, right? So here I say okay, this message is from Akansha. Oh, I received it. Let's say hey, I am Max. Oh, hey, I received it. So this WebSocket seems to be working. Let me again go and see. Let's see what type of request it is sending. Let's say hey again and see again. See no request. It is no new request we see here, right? The same request is being used. What same request? You see, the moment I load this page, you see a request called WebSocket type request on this URL has been created. And whenever I'm sending a message, no new uh, request is being created. The same request is being used. So this is the advantage of using WebSockets here instead of the plain HTTP type request. Okay, so we have now uh, let's make it a little beautiful. Segregate the code as where it should go. Okay, yeah, fast API templating import Jinja to templates. Okay, and again I'm going to use fast API from fast API dot static files import static files. Okay, what I'm going to do is inside the Jinja tool, first I'm going to define the uh, directory from where all the HTML pages are going to be loaded from. So for that I'm going to define okay a variable pointing to which directory. I'm going to use Jinja templates, Jinja 2 templates. I'm going to define the directory path as uh, templates. You can name it anything, templates. Okay, so for that I'm going to go and create a folder templates. Okay, and I'm going to go and create a new file index.html. Okay, and inside I'm going to go and copy it and remove it from here and paste it. Okay, and okay, done. A little clean, better than the previous code. Okay, now we have defined this template. Where are we using this, right? So instead of that, here what we are doing here is we are doing return template response. It is going to be index.html. Okay, uh, let me go and see if it works. Oh, it is working. The code is clean. It is being loaded from this template called index.html. But I still see the script loading from the same html. I again want to load it from its separate scripting file. Okay, so what I'm going to go, and now I'm going to make use of the static files I have defined here. So I'm going to go, the app I'm going to use, app mount on, um yeah, the name of the folder. Okay, and static files. The directory is going to be which directory, and name I'm going to call, hey, sorry, the name is going to be, hey, sorry, uh-huh, name is going to be static. Okay, so I'm going to go and create a static folder, new folder, static. Okay, here I'm going to again go and create a folder called scripts. Okay, or no, I'm going to create a folder name as, let me go and rename it js. Okay, and here I'm going to create a file script. Okay, and here I'm going to copy whatever it is written here. I'm going to paste it. Okay, and then see if it is going to work. It loads, but it is not going to work because I've defined where to mount our application. The static files I have mounted, but I have in the index, I'm not telling it where to load it from, right? So I will have to tell that as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I will have to do this, copy from which one. Okay, uh, from this, let's go copy, copy, something like that here. uh, yeah, so yes, so yes, so inside this we can tell, okay, this is going to be the url of my application. What it is doing, let me minimize it so that you guys don't get confused. I already have that application, the code on my system, right? So going to save my time. Yeah, coming back to it. So see, I am telling, okay, load this script from this url, this url. So in the ginger template, if you want to define any function, use any function, or whatever you are going to pass here, inside here. So let's say here I'm going to pass title, and it is going to be uh, chat app 1. Okay, and inside my template, if I want to use it, I'll simply go and call it, okay, what is my title. So I'm going to define whatever the uh, variable I have passed here is inside this template response. In this list, I can use it here as title. So let me go and reload it. Go see, it is working. It is saying chat application 1 is the title, new title, whatever I'm passing here, right? Okay, so if I go and change it here too, it will change it to 2, right? But it is not 2, we are still on the first. Okay, so we'll go back. So we have understood how to use ginger to templating. Now similarly, if there is a function, we'll have to define it inside the um, yeah, inside this curly braces. So I'm going to use a function called url for. So whatever I'm going to pass here, it is going to create a url for that. So I'm saying, hey, create a url for this, the static url for static, and the following path is going to be js slash script.js. Now where it is going to pick the static from, it is going to pick the static from here. Okay, now I'm going to go and load it, and then I'm again going to click. See, it is working now. So now it is loading the js file perfectly for us. So yeah, it is loading the js file perfectly for us. For how? From this line number 70. So everything seems to be working. Everything is segregated in its dedicated file. Our app is also looking clean. but we are yet to understand how this function is working, right? So we have segregated everything. We have understood this index.html. We have understood this script.js. But now let's go and understand this function for this WebSocket endpoint. Okay, so let's go back and see. Whenever we load our page, it creates a connection, as we have seen in the network tag as well, on this URL. The the you know the path of our application, the type of the protocol, the type of the request is WS, which is for WebSockets, and the endpoint is WS. I can change it to anything. So whatever I'm going to define it here, let me go and change it. Message. Okay, and I'm going to define it same here, message. So my endpoint is going to be defined here in the same way as I've defined for the application app dot WebSocket. The endpoint is message. Now for this endpoint, I'm going to define the callback. The callback is again going to be async. Going to tell you the reason for it. So let's call it define have it async type. Def, the name of the function, you can name it anything. Here it is WebSocket endpoint, and it is receiving a WebSocket type connection, right? Because here whatever we are going to pass, it is going to create a new WebSocket type connection. Okay, now line number 18 says go this WebSocket type except. So what it does, it is creating a new connection. It is accepting a new connection. The moment it accepts the connection, it is going to wait till that and not going to run the following code. The moment it does that, it will enter in an infinite loop. Why it will enter in an infinite loop? Okay, so why? Because we do not want to close the connection. It is going to run again and again whenever it is going to whenever it is going to receive. So what we are going to do is, you see here, whenever we are clicking here, it is sending this WebSocket.send. So using this, it sends a message. Then the control comes here at line number 20, that okay, hey, I have received something. Again, we are using await because we do not know how long it is going to take. So the moment it does, do not process the following thing. Save it in the data, and then okay, because we are sending back the response on the same window, we are sending back the response as WebSocket send back send test. So it sends the message again. So you might not understand that much, but follow through the tutorial, because when we'll be building more the multi-user application, then you will understand more about it. Okay, here since it is there are no two users, so it is a little tough to understand, but stick to the tutorial, you will understand more about it. So, but what I want to say here is, from the WebSocket, if you want to receive the text or if you want to receive the messages, use this function called receive text. Okay, but and when you want to send a message, use this function called send. Okay, so yeah, this is how it is working. Great, great. Okay, so yeah, um, this is how the basic application working. Now let's go and do what? Let's go and create it for multiple users. Okay. Okay. Hi everyone. So now this is the part two of the video where we are learning how to create a full fledged multiple user chat application in FastAPI. If you want to learn the basics, I would recommend go and watch the part one. This is the part two. Here I'm going to start where we have left. So yes, so in order to make our application look like a chat application, I'm going to make use of ChatGPT, because this tutorial is basically about how to learn fast API, or sorry, how to use fast API to create a chat application, not HTML and CSS, right? So if you want to learn how to do that, you can watch other videos, of course, but I will iterate through the code and explain you what each line does. But yes, I'm going to use ChatGPT to help me in creating a template rapidly. So yeah, I'm going to provide help me to create a bootstrap application template of a chat application, okay, of multiple users, okay, and ask the user to join first using a moda, okay, and uh, do it with WebSocket on URL. Let me pass the URL. So we saw that we have the base URL as this, and here we saw the endpoint of the WebSocket was slash messages. So let me go and fire it. See what it is going to help us with. So it is going to help us with creating a full-fledged HTML template with modal and all everything. Then the yeah, this is going to be the JavaScript code, and this is going to be the yeah. See, everything seems to be working. Uh, can you also help with styling? It is going to provide me a little bit style also. See. Yeah. So I am going to copy it, but for simplicity, I have copied it and pasted it in a HTML already. So I've shown you how to use ChatGPT. So I'm going to copy the HTML it has provided to me, and then paste the same in our application. Same here, and here we saw that how to create the HTML in the template using Jinja 2, and I'm going to paste it. Okay, and yes, let me go and load it. Okay, it works, right? But did you see, as I've told you, that we have segregated the styling, and we had the styling everything here only. So what I do, I'll, instead of copying here, I'll go and copy that styling from the yeah to my R styling. Okay, we have not created any style. A new file, new folder, CSS, okay, and then a new file, okay, style.css, and we have to load it also. I'm going to load it. I'll tell you the way, same way we have loaded the script, we are going to load the same style. So I'm going to copy the script, paste it here, okay, and yes, it should work, right? And then let's see if it is working. I'll go, don't need it. No, it seems to be working, right? Yeah. So this is how it is looking like initially when I reload the page with the join button. I click on the join button. I enter the name of the user who wants to join this chat. Okay. I can click on the join button, and then it will show me the chat window where I can just type in the messages, and then it will show me like it, like I have shown you as the final product initially. But see, it is not reflecting the message I have just sent. Why? Because we have not written the backend yet. So at least till now we are finalized with how the front end is looking with the help of ChatGPT. Uh, we see, let me go and open this script. We see that we have told ChatGPT to create WebSocket connection on this URL, and we have seen how it works in for the basic application as well, and the endpoint is same, right? But the logic was to enter in the infinite loop, but we now, and it was for single user. Now we will make it for multiple users. So how it is going to look like now? First we are going to do what? We are going to create a connection manager, and we are going to create a connection manager. We will write the code for the connection manager later, but let's see what this does. Connection manager, okay, and we have created a instance for that, okay. Now we will go here. We are telling, okay, this is a response. What type? response class is, sorry, this is going to be a response class of HTML response. Sorry, I'll just make it. It is saying that it does not exist, but we'll go and create it. Okay. Now, whenever someone comes, enters this message, first it will set up a new connection, right? So how we are going to do that? I'll just remove it right away. I'll just comment it. Okay. So we are going to do that with the help of, like, sorry. Yeah. So we will do that with the, yeah, await, as in, wait for the connection to be established first. So I'll use connection manager to connect what, connect this new WebSocket connection. Okay. And then we are going to enter a try loop. Okay. And in try, what we are going to do is again going to use a while true. Okay. And here we are going to basically do what, receive the text from the users. Okay. Okay. We will do that. Or then we are going to do what, we are going to receive the message. So we will do that by, um, again you're going to use await, and here we are going to do the WebSocket, the connection, WebSocket connection it holds, and we are going to do receive text. And I've told you this function we use to receive text from the WebSocket. Okay. Once we have received the data, we are going to broadcast it. Again, going to use await, to wait functioning of this, function, and then go move forward. Await connection manager, and whatever we have released, we are going to broadcast it to the other users. Okay. So we are going to broadcast to the other users. So well, okay, this WebSocket has broadcasted what data, this data. Okay. Now we have broadcasted. This broadcast function is basically broadcasting to other user, sending message to all the users in the chat. Okay. I have written a type. So chat is like we have written chat. No, sorry, except, right? Except what? Except a, so whenever a connection is, whenever we receive a error, or whenever a connection is, closed, the user goes inactive for, like, say some time, WebSocket closes the connection automatically. So in that way, it will land onto, it will throw a exception, and the exception will be of type, WebSocket. Just a second. Yeah, WebSocket disconnect. So I'm going to write WebSocket disconnect. Okay. I'm going to, I'll go and then import it as well later, but let's finish it. And it is going to be of, let's say yeah, it is going to be of, again we'll get the ID of the, let's say, no, we don't want the ID actually. Yeah, we can do what, we can redirect, return, redirect response to which you are redirect to the home page, so that the user can, join the application again. Or you can do anything here when we get this, when the connection gets closed. Okay. So we are pretty much done with the main logic of this function. Okay. Now let's go and write all this error we are getting. First we need to go and uh, import all this libraries, okay, packages. So I'll go and import this, uh, okay, done. Import this exception. Okay, done, from FastAPI. Okay, then we are going to import HTML response, is done. We are going to do with the, we will be doing something like from data classes, import data classes. We may need it for building our data class, or this, this connection manager. Then we will be using from typing, sorry, import dictionary. Okay. Then we will be doing using UID to build a unique ID for each connection. Then we are going to go import JSON, because we are getting data in the form of JSON, and we will have to import decode it. Then I was getting one more redirect response. Yeah. So import that also from FastAPI dot responses, import redirect response. Okay. So we are pretty much done with everything that we want to import. Now let's go and create the connection manager. So I'm saying data class, and it is of connection manager. I'm going to copy it and then paste it so that I don't make any mistake. And the definition of the the constructor will be, I'm really sorry if you hear my cat saying anything. Yeah. So here it is going to return active connection. So what we are doing is we are storing active connections in the form of dictionary. Okay. And initially it is of empty type. Okay. Then we are going to have another function, as I've told you. We are going to have a function called, hang on, because here uh, whenever user joins, we are saying okay, go connect connect to our active list of connections. Okay, so we are calling a connect function. Let's define the body of that connection. So it is going to be connect. Okay, it is accepting a WebSocket of WebSocket type. Okay, and before that, let me, yes. And then once then we are going to call again await. That's why we have defined it as in async, because we want to again, I told you, I don't, yeah, await accept the connection. Okay. And then we are going to store this connection. For that, what we are going to do, we are going to create a unique ID. For that, we are going to use the UUID package, and we're going to use the 4 UUID 4 for that. Once done, we have got a unique ID of our connection, and then going to store it in the active collection with this ID as the new WebSocket connection. We have done pretty much done with the logic of this function. Okay. Now we are going to do what? Write another function. Okay. But before that, let's do what? It seems to be done. But yes, whenever a user is going to join, we are going to tell them, okay, you have joined the application. So we are going to do what? We are going to do await uh, WebSocket dot send message, and we are going to write the logic of this function. Not WebSocket, self dot send a message. What message send? This WebSocket is going to send a message, and we are going to send in the form of JSON. Let's say call it data JSON. JSON, sorry, JSON dumps is going to be um, something like is me, which is going to tell, okay, am I the active user or not? Right now it is the active user. Okay. And the data is going to be have joined. Okay, you can pass anything, any message here. And the username of this is, let's say, username, let's say, hang on, username is going to be you. Initially you have joined the message, so it is going to look like that. Oh, you have joined the message. Data is done, and I'm going to pass the data to this function, which is like send message from this WebSocket, and this message it is going to send. Okay, pretty much done with the logic of this function. Then we'll have another function. The function is going to this send message. Let's define the body of this message. Okay, self, self, and then going to be WebSocket, WebSocket. Okay, and then it is going to be a message. So it is message is going to be of string type. Okay, done. Then it is going to again send the message. This WebSocket connection is going to send this message with the function called message type, and I'm going to simply send this message. Okay, easy, easy, easy. Then we are going to have another function which is going to be like def what? Like find. Before that, let's define another function which is like going to be the broadcast function. So it is going to be async. Okay, def broadcast. In the broadcast function, what we are going to have, what we have defined, we will be having the WebSocket, which is going to broadcast the data. Okay, so we'll have WebSocket of type WebSocket, and then we are going to have data of string type. Okay, then we are going to decode the decoded data. JSON dot loads decode the data, whatever data we are receiving. Okay, now we are going to do what? We are going to iterate the all the connection, because we want to send to all the users involved in that message, right? To all the users involved in that message, in the chat application at that time, that message. Okay, so we are going to do what? We are going to load all the users, all the active connections. So it is going to do for all connections in self dot active collections. Remember, whenever a connection is established, whenever a new user is joining, we are adding that data to the active collection. See, from this connect function. Now in that, we are iterating through that active collections list, and yeah. So we are okay. Sorry. Oh, sorry. So it is our of type dictionary, right? So we will get the value. Now we have got the value. What we are going to do? Um, we are going to still define some parameters. Okay, we are going to say if sorry, connection is of type active connection. So the active connection who is sending this or broadcasting this message, uh, that is this WebSocket. Okay, and then we are iterating all the active collections. We are checking that, okay, if the loop in the loop if the loop in the loop that connection is the same as the one sending this message, we want to send this is me to true, false. Otherwise is me is false. Okay, you'll understand why we are using this variable. Okay, then we are going to do what? Await simply connection, connection, send text, send this message, send this message, and then going to wrap it as dumps is me is going to be is me. Sorry. Hmm. Is me is going to be is me of type. Okay, and data is going to be whatever data we have decoded, that message. Okay, in the data, and then we are going to have the username who has sent this information in the form of decoded data and get this username information. Okay, done. Done. Sounds great, right? So we are done with the broadcast also, right? So okay, am I disconnecting the? Okay, no, I'm not doing anything, right? Yes. So pretty much everything is looking nice. So we have defined how we want to send this message. Okay. Um and disconnect. Okay. Uh, I'll tell about one more thing, as in if we want to disconnect purposely, explicitly, we can define something like this also. Async type, and here I can define like disconnect, and here WebSocket, which WebSocket to disconnect, WebSocket. Okay, and here we are going to, no, sorry, here we are going to do what, we are going to find the, sorry, we are going to find the ID of the WebSocket. So we are going to do like self dot find ID. Find ID will be ID, and here it is going to be like we pass the WebSocket. Okay, and simply we are going to do what, WebSocket, sorry, self dot active. I guess I've made a mistake somewhere. Have I? No. Yes, yes, I have. Yes, this I've modified. Yeah, now it is working. Yes. Cool. Then what we are going to do, we are going to say delete the WebSocket from the active list collection. So I'm going to do what? Self dot active list connection and this ID. And we can have like a function, uh, def function, and it is going to be like find ID self WebSocket, WebSocket, and I'm going to, you know, here iterate and get the ID of this WebSocket. I, let's say, join Akansha, join it. Oh, it is working. See what is working. Is it working? Oh, it is working. Let another user join it. Duplicate it, reload it, join it. Max, join it. Oh, Max has joined it. Hey, I am Max. Let's see. Oh, it is working. Akash is getting the message. So everything is, seems to be working. We have understood it. We have understood it, but we have not understood the HTML part, right? And also the scripting part, right? Now let's go and understand it. Uh, yeah. So how it is doing? Let me go. When we see this join button, the control goes to this HTML. Let me open the HTML file. Okay, HTML. The join button is this join button. Let me go inspect it and see this join button is of ID this. The idea of this join button is open model. So what it is going to do, it is simply going to open the model. I'll go and open the script file, and here I'm going to see, okay, the control goes to this. When we click on this function, when we click on this button, we open a modal. Okay, we open a modal, and modal is opened by this function, show join button. I'm just telling you, I got this everything done from ChatGPT, but since I know how it is working, I'm just iterating. So this function goes, and where it does, it shows the user form. Which is the user form? This is the user form. Go and see. Let me go and see. See. This is basically, yeah. So it is user form. So it is user form. Open it. Okay. Now inside that the chat, whatever the chat was, I'll tell you later. Hide that. Hide the message input and show the modal. This is the modal. This is the right. I'll go and show. So what it is doing whenever we are clicking on that join button, it opens the modal. Everything is done from JavaScript. Nothing WebSocket has come. Nothing like from WebSocket has come until now. Okay. When we click on this username, hey or Akansha, what it does, let's go and understand. This the idea of this button is again join. When we click on this join, okay, this join is now the idea of this join is, button is join. Okay, it joins. So what it does is it goes to this function and it initializes the WebSocket connection. Let's go and understand what is inside this first. This is the backbone of the whole client asking or setting up a WebSocket connection. It goes inside that, sets up a WebSocket connection on this URL, which is the endpoint of our WebSocket API, and then it defines the handler. On open, it is going to just simply go and say okay. Whenever a new connection is open, it will say okay, connection is established. We will see if we will get it or not. Whenever we on message, whenever a message is sent, what it is going to do, sorry, whenever a message is received, what it is going to do, it is going to get the data, okay, because the data is in the form of JSON, and going to check is it me or not. Remember, we defined like is it me or not. Here we were checking if the current connection is of the same WebSocket. We set it to true, otherwise false. So here we are set for the current user, we are defining is me as true, otherwise false. So it then checks what type of user is it. Is it the other user or the same user? Because on the basis of that, we are going to have different color or a different layout. As in, like if the user is itself is me, show it on the right side. Otherwise, show it on the left side. Okay, and then pick the username and pick the data and then append it like the li as I have shown it in the or as I have explained it in the part one. Some the same way. Okay. Now other two things is whenever we see any error like let's say error in the network, or let's say error the user is has not the user has closed the WebSocket connection. So in that way the user is trying to send message, so we receives an error. So in that way what it is going to do, show a console error and console error. And then what it is going to do, I have made it like open the model again. So it will open the model so the user can, so that the user can join the message again. Okay, I'll show that to you again. Same when the message this connection is closed, the user can simply log in it. Okay, it will tell okay, connection has closed. But what it is going to do, it is again going to open the modal using the same function. Okay, so pretty much that's what how it is working. Okay, so let's go and click on this and open the console. Click on this join button. See, I clicked on this join button. It goes in this and establishes the connection. So here it will say okay, connection is established, and it will go okay, connection established. The control will go to this endpoint where we are saying okay, connection manager connect this WebSocket. The control will go to this connect function where it says okay, establish a new connection and add it to the list of the active collection connections. So it is adding and also show some acknowledgement. How it is showing okay, it is me only, and return the data as I have joined and the username is you itself, and send the message. Then we have defined this function which is simply triggering this send text of the WebSocket and sending the message. Then remember in JavaScript we had this on message where it gets this message, reads the is me as true, and then say okay, this is you only, and then append it. What it is, it appended as the new list. See, I have joined. We have understood until there. Okay, now what if, and also added to the active collection. Now I'll say, I'll send another message, hey, anyone up, send. So before send, let's understand what this send message button is looking like. The idea of this send message is send. I'll go again, open the JavaScript, okay, and check, do I have anything for this send? See, in the send, I'm checking in this ID if it is being clicked, send message. This send message will go to this function, the definition of this function, and what it is doing, it is simply the WebSocket with the WebSocket we have defined for this user is going to send this message same way as we did for the simple WebSocket application. But now we are sending in the JSON form. Why? Because we also want to show the username. What we did is, when the moment user saved the type the username, we saved it in the form of the input, right? We are getting the input value from that message. Let me go and open it. uh, See, in the message, okay, username. So in the input file, remember, we asked for the username, so it is getting the active username from there. And the message we type here, hey anyone up. So the idea of this input field is message, so it gets the message, wrap it in the JSON with this keyword message and the username that the user typed in, and socket sends the message, and also uh, clear it up, right? So yeah, uh, the moment socket sends the message, you understood, we click on it, this function gets fired, and the active socket sends the message wrapped in the JSON. Then again, remember we had a infinite loop in the try. So again it goes in this receive text. The moment it receives text, we broadcast it to all the active connections. So this is the current WebSocket who has broadcasted it, and this is the data. We will go to the broadcast function, and we are going to do what? We first are decoding it, and we are checking, is it the connection? Like, we need to know, right, if it is the same user who has sent it or not, because for that we want to have it like this, I'll tell you. And then we are going to broadcast to all the connections, like all the active connections. Also, we need to define this disconnect function, uh, because whenever there is a problem, like the connection is not active, so we need to remove it from the active list as well, right? So we'll go here, disconnect it, define it like, okay, as I've told you, like just delete it from the active collection. And this find ID, because we, as I told you, right, every connection has a unique UUID. So we are going to get the ID from the WebSocket list, ID list, get the position and return it, and then delete it, right? Now let's go and test it. uh Akansha have joined, Max have joined. Hey, anyone up? Max sees the message from Akansha. Yeah, I am. And Akansha sees the message from the Max. So yes, this is how the application is working.